We have breaking news. A new GDP report is out this morning showing the U.S. economy grew a solid but slightly disappointing 2.8% annual. The report credits consumer spending for the boost. Chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Jared Bernstein, joins me now for more on this. Jared, thanks so much for coming on. What's your reaction to these new numbers?
I think these numbers are just a reminder of how far we've come in this economy since this president took office. In the midst of a downturn, the largest that we've seen since the Great Depression, to the strongest economy in the world. 2.8% GDP growth in the third quarter is well above the trend, the underlying trend of GDP growth, and recent reports have also been there. This president has posted an annualized growth rate of over 3%. That puts him way high up in the rankings. 16 million jobs, unemployment rate at a 50-year low on average, and now rising wages and incomes as inflation eases. We have more work to do to build on this progress, particularly around cutting costs, but we are moving solidly in the right direction.
The Federal Reserve cut interest rates last month for the first time in 4 years. So why don't Americans feel like the economy is improving?
Well, we actually saw in October the largest spike, the largest jump up in consumer confidence in 3.5 years. Now, that's 1 month. I try not to over-torque on any monthly or quarterly result. But that trend is also moving in the right direction. And I think one of the reasons for that is that real incomes are up $4,000 since this president took office. The gas price this morning was $3.13, below $3 a gallon in 20 states. That is helping consumers with real breathing room, and you saw that in this report with a very strong, above expectations, consumer spending number of 3.7%. Again, none of that undermines the urgency of our continuing to lower costs in healthcare, in childcare, in prescription drugs, and we will push that agenda against those who would repeal it, because we need to build on the progress that we're making.
Jared, what about things like grocery prices, where we often hear the term sticky inflation? That seems to be where it's so evident.
Right. I think grocery prices are an example where inflation has come way down. We had double-digit inflation in grocery prices a year and a half ago. Now we're looking at numbers that are around 1%. But people still remember what things used to cost. And that's why, again, our agenda to reduce industrial concentration, for example, in the meatpacking industry, to have more competition, put downward pressure on prices, is as urgent as ever. But let's not forget the income or wage side of the agenda. It actually takes the same amount of work now to buy a bag of groceries as it did before the pandemic. And that's because as inflation has gone up, paychecks have gone up more. None of that obviates the work we have to do. But again, the trend is our friend in those areas.
So, Jared, what does a stronger economy mean for the Fed and interest rates going forward?
Well, I'm pretty careful not to get into their knitting. We respect Fed independence. I think what they've told us is steady as she goes. If you look at their plot for cutting rates, they're on a trajectory that I think we should all listen to them and believe what they say. So the strong economy, this backdrop, is, from our perspective, helping families at the kitchen table. That's what matters most to this president and vice president.
And the October jobs report will be released on Friday. It's expected to be one of the most distorted in years after a month of hurricanes and worker strikes. So what's your message to voters who will see this jobs report as they prepare to head to the polls?
To look at the trend and to never overemphasize 1 month's report, particularly when that report is, and I'm very glad you brought this up. This is actually very important news. We have two sources of distortion in that report, both of which are expected to lower the count of payrolls. One is there are over 40,000 striking workers, and that's baked into the number. The other is the hurricanes, and we can't tell what that impact will be till we see it. But it's a good reason to remember that in this report, the signal will be dampened, the noise will be elevated. To look at the underlying trend, there we have very strong job growth, a solid labor market, historically low unemployment, helping to generate real wage gains. What we saw in this GDP report, that's supporting strong consumer spending. That's 70% of our economy. If we have the tailwind of this job market behind the American consumer, we expect these growth rates to persist.
I also want to talk about a comment from President Biden that's getting a lot of backlash from Republicans today. In an interview, the president was reacting to the comments made by a comedian at Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden, where the comedian called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. I want to play that moment from the president for you in response.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable. And
Okay, you can stop it. Yeah, you can stop it.
The president later tweeted, "I refer to the hateful rhetoric."
He did say it. That comedian did say that, and Biden did say that. But go ahead, Jordan.
He did. Yeah, so you can see, there's still the third quarter. The second quarter. We talked about a few months ago. There was an increase, and now, the third quarter we see a slight decrease as well. So even though us, as average Americans, you might not be seeing it, because of groceries, rent, all type of stuff. You can still see a small difference of how the economy might look once we elect a president, and also a future forecast of what we will see in 2025. So go ahead, Hakeem. What's your take about how the third quarter look for the economy, and might be seeing possible keep up of a rise in our U.S. economy?
So for me, I hear that, and I want to just see the numbers myself. But from a personal day to day, I really didn't see no effect. And maybe that's just a personal thing. But I do think that if I was to see prices drop down, then I can honestly say, okay, they're moving to the right direction. But still, the prices are still up. And there's certain laws that hasn't been passed yet that I think will ease something too. Here in the state of Florida, we're trying to legalize that wacky taffy. You know what I mean? So it's things like that I would like to see the pass. And then, if the unemployment rate is down, then we would see that in us trying to get better jobs. You know what I mean? So that's my point on that.
Now, but shout out to Big Ears Competition that's watching us on Instagram. And now, shout out to Ruthless Truth that's also in the building. Pretty soon we're going to get ready to drop the link. I know Ruthless always come up on Panel Wednesday. Shout out to him. He's also in the building. Shout out to those watching on Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and also Twitch, and also Rumble, and also X. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys follow. It's so very, very important. So my thing is, this is the problem here we always having when it comes to the economy is the Feds. The Feds continue to touch interest rate. At some point, they gotta say, okay, stop touching it and let the economy fix itself. As you can see right now, the economy is at 2.8. The reason why the economy is at 2.8 is because people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. People are grocery shopping. People are shopping. People are investing in other businesses. People are using their money. They're not leaving their money in the bank, but they actually using the money that's also in the bank. People are buying homes. People are renting. The economy is going to naturally fix itself. So if the Fed stop touching the interest rate, the economy will go right back where it needs to be. Now, I'm not going to lie. I kind of disagree with him when it comes to the aspect of the job market, because they say there's a lot of jobs, but Hakeem and Jordan, I don't see it. They have to show me. They have to really show me these jobs they be talking about. These 1 million to 2 million jobs. Now, don't get me wrong. Recently, I heard that right now government job has increased and has a lot of opening. So if they just focus on that only, they're right. But overall, the whole United States, I don't see it, because a lot of people right now are still complaining they can't find a job. Now, don't get me wrong. Right now, we are headed to the holiday season. Matter of fact, not headed. We already are in the holiday season. Therefore, we have jobs like Amazon, like a lot of factory jobs right now is open. I have a lot of openings, so people are trying to find extra jobs, 2 jobs, another form of income. So if they're going based on that, then I kind of agree with him on that. But overall, I don't really see it. But I know the only thing is, I think they noticed that really was an increase was on government job, and I think a little bit on tech. But that's pretty much it. And I think healthcare, if I'm not mistaken. But that's pretty much it. But I could be wrong. Somebody could correct me in the chat. But at the end of the day, let the economy do its thing. The economy is going to pretty much fix itself. Shout out to Dialogue, that's also in the building. Also, Joe No Heard him. Blessings in abundance. Go right ahead, Joe.
Yes, shout out to Joe No Heard him. Yeah, me guys, like I said, even though I see this number, so place a number. Go ahead.
Joe heard him is our Boricua brother, Coqui. And you know, 100 family. We don't support none of that goofy shit them white folks was talking about.
Oh yeah, you talking about the joke?
The
You talking
joke.
about the
We did
joke?
it was
Yeah.
very
Of
tasteless.
course now, totally, yeah, very,
Yeah, yeah.
very
He took
wrong.
a big blow.
Yes, sir. Yeah, for me, looking at the economy, I don't, like I said, I'm with you guys. I don't, looking around here, maybe because we're just in a major city, we're not seeing anything's going on. Maybe it's in smaller towns that just might hit anything. But only thing about with the go strong about the economy is there's a soft spot of it's a good time to buy homes in what's in a housing market in that way. That's the only thing I'm seeing. When it comes to jobs. I agree with Ronnie about there's a lot of seasonal jobs because of the holidays coming by and so forth and so forth. But me, I'm not feeling anything anything about how when it comes to bills or all that type of stuff. Other than it's getting cooler, it's not getting hot, so I know that our electric bill is gonna go down because we use a lot of air conditioning. That's the only thing I can see for my part. But for me, I just want to see how election goes. Oh, like I said, which is a week away, and also see talk about the fourth quarter economy because I think when we talk about the fourth quarter of the economy, I think we can see a really value about how the economy of 2024 how it really gets down and everything. So yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't see anything or feel anything right now. I don't see nothing right now. But yeah, we'll just see till the fourth quarter. See how 2024 goes, and then after 2025, you know, hopefully, what Ronnie said, the economy rebuild itself, and we can have more money in our pockets, a lot more cho in our pockets, that moolah in our pockets for